Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now, today we're going to be doing a beer from quite a well-known brewery, but recently I have been particularly enamoured with their offerings. I feel there's a kind of drop in quality, and me personally, I just seem to think that their choice of new beers is kind of lacking and misguided. But that's my opinion. Feel free to tell us down below what you think. I'm also using a mic today rather than the usual mic on the camera, just because this room can sound a little bit echoey. So I'm trying with the mic to see if that will kind of lower the kind of echo and hopefully prevent it to some degree. But we'll see what happens. But today we're doing another new beer from Fuller's, known as Griffin IPA. Now, they did one called Griffin Gold, which was it's a very similar label, but it's green. And I'll be totally honest, I thought that was a dreadful beer. I really do. Not just because of the type of beer it was and how the recipe was. I mean, it was quite citrusy, quite piney. And piney is the thing I absolutely hate in beer. I just do not like it at all. I keep making the analogy, it's like toilet cleaner to me. But I grew up in the kind of 70s and 80s going to school where, yeah, the toilets stank of pine. Bloody hell, the fucking toilet paper. You took this horrible toilet paper that used to be like tracing paper. It was kind of medicated and it rank, stank of blooming pine as well, and also used to cut your anus up as well. It was dreadful. But anyway, I'm digressing here, but I just don't like that. So that beer just stank of pine. It was just dreadful from my point of view. Other people, although I did look on their website, and the kind of reviews they were getting on their websites kind of followed along to my kind of similar to my opinion, was that it was just dreadful. So we've now got this one. And again, oh dear. So it says Griffin IPA, hoppy, refreshing, classic India Pale Ale. Is there anything in the back? Of course there will be. It's 5.2%. It's a 500ml bottle, as per usual. What's that stuck to my nail? I've got a little rag on my nail that's now managed to pick up a bit of my bloody jumper. Right. So what is it saying? Conjuring. Oh, here we go. You can always tell it's going to be quality when it starts off with the word conjuring. Jesus, imagine. Anyway, conjuring a landscape of sandstorms and sunsets. Okay. Oh Jesus, that's it. That was the sentence. I thought it was going to be another part of it, but apparently, conjuring a landscape of sandstorms and sunsets. Griffin IPA pours a pale amber colour on the palate, orange character. It's followed by floral and spicy notes from the hops, riding through to a satisfying finish of mild bitterness. Great with a curry. Griffin IPA cuts through to refresh the palate and adds its own gentle touch of spice. What a load of shit. Riding through to a satisfying finish of mild bitterness. Riding through. I've come across quite a few analogies, but that's a new one on me. Riding through. Jesus. Name a fuck. All I could say is somebody said a damn good wank over this because all I'm basically smelling is jizz. Oh, Jesus, fuck. Unbelievable. And I like this just kind of, it's great with the curry. Where the fuck did that come from? Great with the curry. Jesus God. Jesus. Griffin's IPA cuts through to refresh the palate. Does it really? Does it? Does it? God. Fuck. Seriously. Oh, God. Marketing people. Jesus, they're just. I want to use the C word. I just really want to put a whole rake of C's right through this video right now. But I will refrain. I will refrain. I will not use the C word. Seriously. Bunch of useless. Had the C word at your own. Really. What a bunch of. Had the C word again if you want. Right, anyway. Shall we crack this open and see if this is so. See whether it rides through to a satisfying bitterness. Rides through. And the conjure up. It's just a sentence that has no relation to the beer whatsoever. Conjuring up a landscape of sandstorms and sunsets, right? And then that's the sentence just stops. That's it. Well, yeah. What's that got to do with the beer? It's just, oh, fucking hell, seriously. Oh, what a bunch of wankers. Oh, that's got to be one of the best. Oh, no, there was one that I remember when it used to stand out. Oh, I can't remember what something. It was really just like another one of these utter, just stupid statements that mean absolutely bloody nothing. But they think it's going to mean something to somebody, seriously. Anyway, let's pour it. Oh, what a lot of shit. Oh. There we go, there's a good pour. Oh. Managed to pour that without having to come across any sandstorms. The sun is still in the sky. Right, for people in the podcast, I don't even know why I'm saying this. I'm so far behind the podcast, I don't think I'll ever get to listen to this, never mind bloody see it on the podcast anyway. But just to carry on, old habits. It's a kind of light copper colour, lightish kind of amber colour. Smell-wise. A bit of grain. Not really getting malt. Yeah, just kind of slight grainy smells, that's all. No real malt. I mean, yeah, slightly kind of grain, kind of bready smells, that's all. No citrus. No malt, no kind of caramel or toffiness, nothing like that. And this is the thing that I feel with the beers right now is they're lacking the quality, as if like they've all kind of dropped in quality. Whether it's cost cutting, I honestly really don't know, but I feel it's a case. So we just have this kind of feeling that the accountants are becoming more involved in fillers now. They've had their grace period after being bought over by Asahi, the Japanese brewing conglomerate. And yeah, they've had a kind of grace period where they've been allowed just to carry on as normal. But I'm starting to feel now that with their choice of new beers coming out and just with what I feel is a drop in quality to their existing lineup, as well as the quality of these new beers, that, you know, their grace period is over and now they've got to kind of start kind of following the corporate line of we're here to make money. We're not here to build reputations and a fan base for their quality beers. We don't need to be known for quality beers. We don't need to basically hand out quality beers for these type of prices. We'll give them any old shit and we've got to basically maximise our profit now. You know, it feels it's kind of like going down that route, which is a shame. Right, let's see what it tastes like. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. First thing, maybe a little bit more carbonated than it really needs to be. Especially just felt it in the back of the mouth there. What? It's a bit overly carbonated in the back of the mouth there. Also, I got a nice kind of malty sweetness to start with, and I was kind of, oh, I thought, oh, that's quite nice. And then I'm getting kind of pithy, piney back end. There is what they call a kind of bitterness, but I class it as more of a kind of sourness. It's kind of more kind of citrus pithy part of the peel, bordering on kind of piney. So it's a kind of sour, kind of pithy, kind of piney kind of flavour at the back end. So front end actually tasted quite nice, and then the back end just, oh dear. Caught me again. Yeah. I'm hopefully that it will die down a bit, especially at the back end. Mid tongue, not too much going on. I mean, it's more noticeable front end and back end. Nothing really is jumping out in the mid tongue right now. Of course, that might change, but right now, first impressions, it's kind of, there's a bit of yin and yang going on to this one. A nice kind of maltiness kind of start, and a rather kind of pithy, piney kind of end to it. You know, one side I like and one side I don't. But anyway. Oh. A wee bit gassy. But yeah. Riding through to a mild bitterness, was it? Riding through to a mild bitterness. Oh, all right. Yes, riding through to a satisfying finish of mild bitterness. Satisfying. Oh, I'm not really satisfied with it, and I really just don't like the word riding. You know, it's like, I've never done any riding with beer, and I'll be totally honest, I don't think I really want to. Oh God. Oh. Aye. So yeah, maybe not the best. Right now, it's starting to die down a bit. I'm starting to get a bit acclimatized to it. So some of these flavors are kind of dying down a bit, which is quite good. So I won't do the breakdown of the flavor quite yet until things have kind of settled down. But yeah, there seems to be a few things going on in the beer world. A few breweries are claiming that they're no longer really going to, because of the sales are falling, and the kind of Shepherd Neame being one of them, but there's a few other breweries kind of following suit. They're claiming that they're trying to kind of dial back their fresh cask beer because cask beer is kind of really dying. It's not really kind of growing. The kind of sales are dropping, and they're going to start kind of diverting some of the resources from the cask beer side to the more kind of popular kind of craft beer from the kegs and all this type of stuff. Well, let's be totally honest. They put that out, and they must have got a bit of a backlash, because then within a couple of weeks they were coming out saying, no, we're not actually doing that. No, I think we were misquoted in that article. No, we're not going to be reducing or fresh kind of cask side of the brewing process. Not at all. No, we're not doing that. And this is the thing that I started to notice, especially with brewers who are lazy. They want this kind of, how would you put it, this kind of quick fix. And it always seems to be from brewers that are lacking one kind of major area within their business. They don't have a really, really good cask ale. And even though with Shepherd name and their reputation and everything else, and well, how long they've been going, and I think that's more to do with building up their reputation than actually what they're offering. I mean, let's be totally honest, their reputation should be built on what they're actually putting in the glass, whether coming from the bottle or from cask or from keg. Is what you're actually putting in the cask is what your reputation should be built on, not how long you've been doing it. But they seem to kind of ride this kind of situation where we're so old and everything else, and automatically that gives you a good reputation because we know what we're doing. But what I would say definitely about Shepherd Neame is they have okay beers. I can honestly say that they have a good or really great cask beer offering. I don't think they do. I mean, what they do offer is fine. It's okay. It's not wonderful in any way, shape, or form, but it's fine. It's okay. And I think that's the problem, is because they don't really have a really good cask ale to build on. So when they're turning around and saying, well, yeah, our kind of cask ales are kind of falling off and we're not selling as much as we used to, well, because you're not really providing any real quality product that people can really think, well, I do enjoy that and I keep going back to it. Let's be totally honest, if you're a regular stalker of Shepherd Neame stuff and you get a guest deal in, I would be surprised if a lot of people want to try the guest deal. And if it's a good chance it might be better than the Shepherd Neame offering, because what they do offer in the bottle and in the cask is okay, but nothing brilliant. And I think that's the problem with them. Instead of them trying to kind of create a proper, really good beer and put the effort into that, they're blaming their customers. So it's not as the case as, oh, well, we're not really providing something that really the customers want to drink regular and keep going back to. But instead of us blaming ourselves for that, we'll blame the customer for saying, well, they're just not buying it. They're just not buying the stuff that we're putting in, mostly because it's not that great. It's okay, it's fine, but nothing brilliant or wonderful, like I said. So now they're going to basically jump on the bandwagon. Well, we'll go with the other idiots because they seem to drink any old shit. So what we'll do is we'll concentrate more on the craft beer because, hey, they're used to drinking any old piss. As long as we tell them it's wonderful, they'll believe it. You know, it's like that kind of nonsense. You know, it's not a case as though it's the drinkers, and especially on the craft side, I've noticed this. It's not really so much the actual punters telling the breweries what they like and what they don't like. It's mostly the breweries telling the punters what they should like and what's good and what's bad. But you won't get away with that with traditional ale drinkers. You've got to come up with a decent drink for us to actually want to drink it. If you don't be surprised when nobody drinks your beer. It really is that simple. Calling it a really old kind of way how traditional drinkers, but this is how it used to be like in most businesses. If you provided a shit product, then people just wouldn't buy it. And to try and hide behind as if like, well, it's down to the customer that's failing the brewery. No, it's the actual brewery failing the customer. And it's happening up and down the country. Whereas you've got a lot of mediocre breweries putting out a lot of mediocre products. And then when the punters aren't buying them, they're blaming the punters. As if like, you know, well, the punters are fickle. They've rejected us now. Well, not really. It's a case as though your quality of beer. Now, again, in the past, we've had situations where the quality of a certain brand of beer from a certain brewery has been better in the past, and then the recipe's changed, and then suddenly it's not as good, and then they're suddenly surprised why people aren't really buying it in the same amount as what they used to because they don't really like the change in the recipe and they feel the quality has dropped, you know. But again, they point the finger at the customer, not a finger at themselves. And this is the kind of problem, this is the trend. If you make a good beer at a good price, people will buy it. If you make a bad beer or a kind of mediocre beer that's kind of overhyped and overpriced, don't be surprised if people don't buy it, you know? So yeah, that's what's been kind of going on in the beer world right now over the last kind of month. A lot of kind of stupid kind of articles where they've come out with that, had a bit of a kind of a backlash from the kind of customers, and then suddenly, you know, claiming they've been misquoted. No, we're not going to be doing that. No. And you're thinking, you're arseholes. Just again, bad management. But hey, there's bad management all over this. In fact, hey, the whole bloody country is basically badly managed, from the private sector to the public sector to the government. So there we go. Right, let's see if this is going to kind of be a bit more palatable. It's getting a bit better now. It's the kind of sourness side is kind of died down a bit. A little bit of pininess there, a little bit of sourness there, but nowhere near as bad as it was. It's okay. It starts off with a nice kind of maltiness, slightly kind of darkish caramel, kind of light toffee, with a nice bit of sweetness there, and a nice bit of grain, just kind of slight breadishness to it. But yeah, and a nice kind of level of malt, nice level of grain, and a nice level of sweetness. Goes on to the mid tongue. It doesn't really do much in the mid tongue, apart from give you a kind of a foreboding or forewarning to what's to come at the back end. But yeah, all you're just heading there is just going through the rigmarole of the malt and the sweetness. The underlying sweetness just goes from front to back. The level kind of stays roughly the same. But what does kind of happen is that midway through the mid tongue, between the kind of malt and this kind of slightly breadish grainishness, you're getting something that's almost floral. It feels slightly floral, but then it starts going a bit soapy on you quite quickly, and it's kind of foreboding. There's quite a lot of hops in this, and with certain types of hops, if you put quite a lot of certain types of hops, it starts to give you this slightly kind of soapy kind of aftertaste to it. So you get a little bit of floralness, but not a lot. But it's kind of detracted by this slight kind of soapiness. And it is just giving you kind of forewarning of what's going to be coming at the back end. Because what it does is it comes into the back of the mouth and the aftertaste. And that's where you're getting this kind of, you're not getting citrus, you're just getting a kind of pithiness, kind of pissy, kind of sourness. Not even a bitterness, it's a kind of a sourness. Because it's actually on the bottom, at the back of the throat, not in the roof of the mouth. Bitterness you'll get at the back, on the roof of the mouth. Sourness you'll actually get at the back of the tongue and get towards the throat. And that's where you're getting this kind of pithiness that you're getting, like from kind of citrus peel. But kind of attached onto that, you are getting a kind of pininess as well. Now, it has died down a lot from the first few sips, but there's still a bit there. It's, how would I say, I can cope with it. It's not enough now that's annoying me. I can cope with it, but I'd be happier and prefer it if it wasn't there. Unfortunately, it is. So, you're like, but that's the thing that's probably letting it down a bit. It's kind of annoying me. overall, it's okay. It's nothing brilliant. Front end's okay. Mid tongue, really not that much going on. And what is going on isn't that great. And then in the back end, even though it has got better, it could have been a better finish. Mouthfeel, not too bad. Maybe slightly a bit more carbonation than necessary, but not too much more, but still a bit more than what we'd expect from this kind of style of beer. So, what would I give it out of 10? Well, it's not as bad as Griffin Gold. Griffin Gold was just dreadful. It's not as bad. It feels like it's kind of a kind of similar recipe. That's what it feels like. Whereas they've dialed back the hops a little bit so they're not as piney. So it still gives you the same kind of sensation, but not the same intensity at the back end. And it just feels like the malt has kind of ramped up a bit, usually by maybe using a slightly darker malt, or maybe slightly more, probably slightly more crystal malt or something like that. We've used, we're just giving it a little bit more of an edge, malty edge, and a little bit more of a sweetness. And that's what I feel what they've kind of done. So they've like kind of, it's a very similar recipe, but just some kind of minor adjustments and then fired out. And yeah, what would I give it out of 10? It's okay, it's nothing special. And again, I don't get the usual feel as what you used to get with fillers for quality wise of ingredients and everything else. Although the malt's not too bad, but the mid tongue is just kind of a wasteland apart from slightly kind of floralness and a kind of soapiness. And you think, seriously, you really are going in the wrong direction. Fillers right now, you really are. And on the base of that, the best I can give it is a 5, and I'm being very generous because I could quite easily give it a 4. I really honestly could. But the best I can give it is a 5. I just feel that, no, it's just not quite there. It just really isn't. And it feels that it's just a kind of a slight rehash of the Griffin Gold to a certain degree. Just kind of slightly adjusting the recipe just to give a different beer, but it's basically along very similar lines. So yeah, would I recommend it? Again, it depends what you're into, but from my point of view, I wouldn't be buying it again, and I've got no real desire to drink it again. So no, I wouldn't personally buy it again, which means it's quite difficult for me to recommend. But again, everybody's got different tastes and different attitude to different styles of beer. So my view is give it a go and see what you think. But yeah, it's 5 out of 10, 500ml bottle, 5.2%. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye for now.